Clock says it's 12 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started and see how this test drive of live stream works in lieu of Zoom. So thanks for joining me. If you'd like to grab a seat, I'm recommending just comfortable seat, easy seat to get started, whatever that looks like for you. Please feel free to use any props, whether sitting up on a block might feel good, or a bolster, or a pillow. Please make this your own flow. As we settle in, feeling grounded and supported by the mat, we'll take a few collective breaths. I'll explain it first, and then we'll go through 3 cycles. So we will start inhaling deeply through the nose, pulling the air all the way down to the base of our spine, filling up our belly, our chest. And then we'll open the mouth and do a full release exhale, just letting it all go, dropping our shoulders down and just relaxing. So our first round, we'll begin with an inhale through the nose, filling up completely, maybe one more sip of air, and then open the mouth, exhale. Another round, inhale through the nose, and exhale, let it all go. Inhaling through the nose, and exhale, release. I'll go ahead and introduce Marvin. If you're new to any of my videos, I have 3 cats, and they come and go as they please, as trying to train them or keep them away is impossible, as you all know. So let's begin by dropping chin to chest. We'll warm up the neck, so taking the gaze down towards the mat, and rolling the left ear towards left shoulder, maybe walking the right fingers and arm out, getting a nice stretch through the right side of the neck and shoulder. And dropping the chin, rolling the head back down, taking it over to the right side, right ear to right shoulder, maybe walking the left fingers out, taking the arm away from the body. And rolling the chin back down, maybe speeding up a little bit, going side to side, getting a little deeper into the neck. Maybe we'll take full circles if that feels okay on your neck. Gently taking the gaze up, dropping the head back, and going both ways. As we slowly add some movement to the body. Coming back upright, we'll walk both hands, our arms out to the side, fingertips on the mat, and then with an inhale, we'll take the arms up and overhead, perhaps the gaze goes up, and then exhale, bringing the arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhaling, arms down, making sure our spine is staying upright, and moving at your own pace here. Inhalations going up, exhalations going back. And with your arms up in the air, our left arm reaching up, over, keeping both hips firmly planted on the mat as we do a full side stretch, feeling it all the way from hip bone to the end of our left fingertips, breathing deeply, maybe taking the gaze up and towards the ceiling, going under the elbow or armpit. And then on your next inhale, we'll bring it back up and overhead, dropping the left hand over to the mat, reaching up with the right arm and taking it over, leaning left side, keeping again both hip bones and sit bones on the mat, perhaps taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then inhale up overhead. We'll do it a little quicker this time, dropping the right hand down, leaning over towards the right. Inhaling back up, taking it over to the left. And then inhaling, arms back up overhead. Next, we'll do a nice twist. So taking left hand to right knee, right arm comes behind us. As we begin to turn to the right, we inhale through the spine, taking the head up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, turning into the twist, being gentle. The last thing to come back is our head and neck. Breathing in deeply here. Inhale, extending up through the spine. Exhale, turning towards the back. And then we'll bring it back towards the center with the next inhale. Arms overhead, then right hand goes to left knee. Left arm drops behind us. Inhaling, extending up through the spine. Exhale, turning back to the left. Breathing deeply here. Hand and left knee to twist us back a little deeper. And then returning to the center. We'll move next into tabletop. So coming to our hands and knees. Knees are directly underneath our hips. Wrists are under shoulders. Take a few traditional cat-cows here as we continue to warm up our spine. So inhaling, dropping the belly down, taking the gaze up, inhaling into the cow, and then exhale, arching the back up, taking the head down, gazing between the feet, really pushing into the mat with the hands, arching up into cat, inhale into cow, exhale into cat. Take a few more here. One, pacing it with your own breath. Any other movement which your body is calling for. Really tuning into your body and taking notice of how all the different movements feel in your body. As we move through the flow here, making sure that while we might encounter some discomfort, that we don't let ourselves get into any position of pain. I'll offer up some modifications, but be sure to do what works for you. Coming to neutral spine here, with back just flat. Tuck your toes, and we'll do a little hovering table here, which will give us a little work in our abs and also in our shoulders. So on an inhale, pressing into your feet and your hands, gently lifting the knees up off the ground, keeping the back flat, gaze stays down on your mat, really feeling it in the core. We'll hold hovering table here for a few more deep breaths. Coming down whenever you feel the need to, but we'll hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees back down. I'll go ahead and introduce child's pose. So the child's pose will bring the feet together, maybe take the knees towards the edges of the mat, and we'll sit our sit bones back towards our heels, keeping our arms out in front of us, and then bringing our torso down towards the mat, maybe resting our head on the mat. Child's position is always available if you would like to take a break or just need some stretching. It's also an option to downward facing dog anytime I cue into down dog. Maybe in child's pose, you walk your fingers forward, really feeling a nice stretch in your shoulders. You can tent up your hands here, making it a more active pose. Or you can always take your elbows out to the side of the mat, taking your hands together and really make it restful. We'll take one more breath here and then push back into tabletop. From tabletop, we'll go into thread the needle. So starting with the left hand, on an inhale, we'll open up our left shoulder, taking our gaze and arm up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the arm down, under the body, through, and out to the right. Our torso comes down, our left ear to the mat. Our right hand can stay next to the face. We can walk the hand out in front. We can take the arm up in the air, or we can wrap it around behind us, coming into a half bind. If you wish to straighten the right leg behind you, taking the toes to the back of the mat, you can open up the hip here, feeling it a little bit in the back. And then if you'd like a balance challenge, you can always attempt to lift the straightened leg off the mat. Continuing to breathe here, taking whichever option works for you. Taking whichever option works for you. And if you've lifted that leg, perhaps bringing it back down, bringing the right ear back next to the face as we begin to push back up. So inhaling the arm back under the body, taking it up towards the air as we open up towards the ceiling, and then coming back to our tabletop. We'll take a cat-cow here to reset. So inhale, taking the gaze up, dropping the belly down. And exhale, arching the back, taking the gaze down, pushing into the mat with the hands, and then returning to neutral. We'll thread the needle to the other side. So this time, starting in tabletop again, we inhale the right arm up towards the ceiling, opening the shoulder up, taking the gaze up. And then exhale, bringing the arm back down, through under the body, through, and then the back of the right hand goes out the left side, the right ear comes down to the mat, along with the right shoulder. Again, the left hand can stay next to the face. We can walk the fingers out in front of us. The arm can go up in the air, or we can wrap it around behind us, coming into a nice bind. If we wish to take the balance challenge on this side, we can drop the left leg straight back, coming up on our toes and the back of our mat. And then gently lifting the leg up, bringing it no higher than hip height. But just really testing our balance here, engaging our core. Dropping the leg back down. If you've taken the half bind, left hand returns down to the mat next to the face as we push into the mat, bringing the arm back out from under us, rolling the shoulder open, taking the right arm up towards the ceiling along with the gaze, and then coming back to tabletop. One more cat here. Inhale, taking these up. And exhale, rounding into cat. At this point, if you're ready to join me and take our first down dog, we will walk our hands forward a little bit, tuck our toes, and then lifting our hips and push them up and back, coming into a downward facing dog, gazes back towards the feet or between the knees, really getting into a comfortable position here, maybe adjusting the hands, the feet, maybe pedaling them out, checking to make sure we have nice, strong, straight arms, a flat back. Our knees can be as bent as feels good, especially with our first down dog here. Also making sure to continue to breathe. Inhale and exhale. Coming up into a forward fold. And then inhale, lifting the chest, bringing a flat back up so it's parallel to the mat. Exhale, forward fold, letting the arms and head dangle down towards the mat. Maybe swing foot to foot, left to right. Perhaps taking opposite elbows and the hands coming into a ragdoll, bending the knees, just allowing the head to be heavy, the neck to be relaxed, really adding length into our spine here. We'll come up to a half lift on an inhale, bringing hands to shins or knees, wherever it feels good. Then we'll bring our hands to our waist, and with a flat back, we'll exhale into Tadasana, or mountain pose. Mountain pose, we'll go ahead and continue to do a little more stretching here. So let's roll the shoulders out, bring them up, back, and around, and rolling them forward. We'll also, while it's still early in the practice, do a little balance challenge here. So taking the weight into the right foot, we'll gently lift the left knee up, bringing the thigh parallel to the mat, finding something to look at that isn't moving, like I was looking at myself, which is not helpful. And then opening the knee out to the left, and then maybe placing the foot wherever it's comfortably meeting the opposite leg. So taking hands to prayer pose if that feels comfortable. Obviously being comfortable with being uncomfortable and not fearing failure. It's just not going to work for me today. So let's try it on the other side, maybe getting the jitters out. Grounding down to the left foot. We'll begin by raising the right knee, opening the hip, taking the knee out to the side, and then bringing. There we go. Maybe we take the arms out into our tree. You can always keep them at Anjali Mudra. And when you've had enough, coming back to Tadasana at the back of the mat. So we mountain pose here. Let's inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale, let's walk our hands out into a plank pose. So in plank pose, we can go into a full plank here, up on our toes, having our wrists right underneath our shoulders. We also can drop our knees down to the mat, untuck the toes, coming into a modified plank. Whichever you pick to choose. We also have forearm. So pick your poison here or pick your spice. And we'll do a little strength test here. So now let's see how we start right here as our first session and progress throughout the coming weeks. So I don't really have a timer, but I guess we'll begin to count. So if you're holding plank with me, feel free to drop the knees down whenever your body asks you to. Really using the core to help keep you strong in your plank. Always having the option to modify if forearms not working, coming into a high plank. When you've had enough, lowering all the way down to the mat. Taking a break here. So untucking the toes, placing one of the cheeks down on the mat, taking a moment just to catch your breath. When you're ready to move on, we'll take our hands, placing them under our shoulders, and on an inhale, gently rolling up into Cobra pose. So, rolling up, keeping the gaze and the head facing the mat, really getting a nice gentle back bend here. And exhale back down. We'll do two more. So maybe adjusting the hands if you wish, walking them out to the side or maybe further in front of you. But on your next inhale, rolling into Cobra number 2. Exhale back down. And our last Cobra. Inhaling up, again being sure to protect the neck, keeping the gaze. And exhaling back down. Taking the hands under the shoulder, we'll be pressing up into plank. So whether that's via tabletop or however you get there. But from your plank, let's step our left foot forward towards our hand. Drop our right knee down, untuck the toes. And we'll come up into a nice low lunge. So we can inhale the arms up and overhead. Have them on the knee, they can stay on the mat. But in our low lunge here, we're working to open our hips, so allowing the weight to really allow our hips to drop down and forward. Making sure our knee does not get out in front of our toes, so if we needed to adjust our stance at all. And then on your next inhale, rolling back, straightening the left leg, bending the right knee, coming into a runner's lunge. So this pose, the toes facing the ceiling, the leg nice and straight, bending forward, gently feeling a nice stretch through the hamstring. If you wish to do a little mini flow back and forth, we can inhale into our low lunge, exhale, runner's lunge, moving back and forth with your breath, or picking one pose and staying with it. On your next inhale, let's all come together in our low lunge. And then step that left leg back and bring our right foot forward. So we'll do a nice low lunge on the other side. Same thing, same options on the menu. Hands can come to knees, arms can go overhead. Just allowing the weight to push down and forward as we get a nice stretch in the hip. When you're ready, we can roll back, coming into our runner's lunge. Get a nice stretch in that right hamstring. Hands framing the leg. A gentle forward fold, bringing forehead down towards the knee if that feels okay. And then bringing the weight back forward, coming into our low lunge. With the left leg, we'll tuck the toes, lifting the left leg. With our hands framing the foot, we'll take a giant step forward with the left foot coming into a forward fold at the top of our mat. We'll inhale into our half lift, hands to the knees, back flat, gaze down. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain, arms come up over the head, gaze goes up, maybe a gentle back bend. And then exhale to Tadasana. We'll go into a few traditional sun salutations here. Beginning with the sun salutation A. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, coming to plank. Then going down to the mat into chaturanga, or maybe knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, rolling up into cobra or up dog. And then exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, push into the hands with the mat, going into down dog. Hold down dog for 3 breaths here. Maybe the legs are a little straighter this time, now that we're a bit more warmed up. And on your next inhale, we look towards the top of the mat. Exhale, we step, hop, jump, somehow make our way to the top of the mat. Inhale, half left. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale to Tadasana. Do 2 more, moving at your own pace here. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down to chaturanga. Inhale, rolling up into up dog or cobra. And exhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, pushing back into downward facing dog. We'll only be here 2 breaths this time. So on your next inhale, taking a gaze to the top of the mat, looking to see where your feet want to go. And then exhale, making your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale to Tadasana. 1 more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, stepping back. Coming down to chaturanga. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale, rolling the body up, taking the gaze up into up dog or cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, gaze goes back, pushing into the mat, strong with the hands, and downward facing dog. And the next inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, make your way there. Inhale, half left. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead, and exhale to Tadasana. Starting in Tadasana, we'll take a moment here just to get centered, making sure our weight is evenly distributed through our feet. Our legs are strong, shoulders are relaxed, rolled back and down, hands facing forward. Core is engaged, arms are relaxed. Take a couple more breaths here. Just checking back in, noticing how our body feels. Maybe feeling a little more tired, maybe a little more flexible, a little more open than when we started class. With the next inhale, we will step back with the right foot towards the back of the mat, bringing the foot to 45 degrees. Bending into the left knee, taking arms overhead, coming into a Warrior One. Warrior One, our back leg is straightened and strong. Our front leg is at 90 degrees. Our weight is pushing forward and out. Arms frame our ears, and we're attempting to square our hips towards the top of the mat. Continuing to breathe here, being strong in the legs. Let's take our arms down behind us, grasping hands, if that feels okay. And then rolling the shoulders open as we take the gaze up overhead. And then inhale, folding forward over our front left leg, taking the head down, bringing the arms up and behind us. Really opening up the shoulders, also testing the strength. We're here in Humble Warrior. We'll inhale back up into Warrior. We'll keep those arms clasped. And we'll go back and forth 2 more times. So exhale, coming into Humble Warrior. Inhale back up. Last one. Exhale down to Humble Warrior. We're really testing out the strength here, feeling it in our hamstrings as we open up our shoulders and coming back upright, releasing the hands, taking the arms overhead. And from Warrior 1, we'll be moving into Warrior 2. So dropping the right foot so it's parallel to the mat, opening our hips to the side of the mat, taking arms out and back so left hand is facing front of the mat, right hand is facing back. Keeping the 90-degree bend in the left knee, right leg nice and straight. Relaxing our shoulders so they're not scrunched up, but our arms are nice and strong. So we're reaching forward and back. The arms parallel to the mat. Traditionally, gaze is over the front left middle finger. Breathing deeply here. Now from our Warrior 2, if you wish to join me, we'll test a little strength here. So bringing hands to the head. We'll just move elbow towards front knee, dropping it down, coming back upright, dropping it behind us. And we'll just move back and forth as we continue to keep that front knee pushing forward and out, holding it in the 90 degrees, strong in both legs. As we work our obliques here a little bit. Whenever you need to, you can straighten that front leg to give the thigh a little bit of a break. And then coming back to stillness in the upright, let's raise both hands up and overhead. And then lean forward. So we'll again be testing the strength in that front thigh, being sure to keep our chest open. So we can take the gaze up. We don't want to collapse down and roll forward. We'll inhale back upright. Give ourselves a break. Exhale down forward. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Coming back upright, returning to Warrior 2. And then straightening that front leg, getting out of our thigh. If you'd like to shorten your stance here, bringing the right foot in a little bit, keeping the hips squared to the side, arms out in front. Lean forward from the waist, dropping left hand down towards left leg, bringing right arm up and over, coming into our extended triangle. In extended triangle, we want to keep the front of the body open, so we're pushing that hip towards the back of the mat and also towards the end of that leg. Arms come down to the mat, hands framing the mat, coming up on our back toes, stepping back, inhale, rolling into up dog or cobra. And then exhale, tuck the pushing back into down dog. And we all can take a moment here in child's pose. Catching our breath before we take it to the other side. If you have your forehead down on the mat, maybe taking this opportunity to tune into your breath, focusing internally again. Note of how you feel, where your mind has been. Stay focused. Breathing in deeply. Exhaling, letting something go that isn't serving you. When you're ready, pushing back into downward facing dog. Switch sides so I don't entirely have my back to you. So pushing back up into down dog. We will now step the right foot forward, dropping the left foot down into 45 degrees. Inhaling, arms up, coming into warrior one on the other side. So again, warrior one, we're strong in that front knee. Weight is pushing the knee towards the front and a little bit outside of the mat. Left leg is straight and strong. Hips are attempting to align to the top of the mat. It's an impossibility, but yet we still try. Arms go up and overhead. Nice and strong, inhaling and exhaling, gaze straight out in front of us as we hold warrior one. When you're ready, we'll drop the arms, taking the hands behind us, maybe tucking the funky thumb on top. Inhale, we take the gaze up, maybe a little back bend. And then exhale, we go to humble warrior, where right shoulder goes towards right knee, head drops down towards the mat. Our clasped hands rise up in the air, arms nice and strong, opening up the shoulders here. Breathing deeply. Perhaps really feeling it in that front thigh already. So on an inhale, let's come back up. We'll do drop down 2 more times into humble warrior. So rolling back down. Inhale, upright. And exhale into our last humble warrior. Inhale, releasing the hands, bringing arms up and overhead. One more time in warrior one. Before we go ahead and turn to warrior two. So opening the hips to the side of the mat, dropping the left leg back, bringing the foot parallel to the back. Again, we're keeping nice and strong in the front knee, 90 degrees. Hips now square to the side of the mat. Arms reach forward and back. Again, shoulders are relaxed. Gaze goes out over our front middle finger. Make sure you're breathing here, staying nice and strong in that front knee. And then we'll bring the hands to the head again, taking elbows out to the side. And we'll take our crunches if you wish to join me. So taking right knee towards right elbow, or rather right elbow towards right knee. Coming back up, upright. Taking it back behind us. Leaning forward. Staying strong here with your balance. Taking it back. Inhaling. We'll do 3 more here. And keep count on the other side. Really staying strong in the legs here. One more. Coming up right now, we'll take arms overhead, elbows framing the ears. And then we'll lean forward, taking arms parallel to the mat. Perhaps we gaze up towards the ceiling to make sure that we're not rolling that shoulder forward. Staying nice and strong in the front knee as it begins to shake. Perhaps. We'll hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back upright. Taking the arms out to the front. And then we'll get out of that front knee. So straightening the legs. Maybe bringing the left foot in, keeping the hips square to the side. Arms out in front, and we'll go into extended triangle. So reaching forward from the hip, right hand goes down to right foot, left arm towards the ceiling, gazing up, rolling that left hip towards the back end of the mat as well as behind us. So keeping nice and open through the hips. Also rolling your shoulder, nice shoulder opener here. When you're ready, left arm comes down, hands to the mat, framing the right foot, coming up on our back toes, stepping back into plank, and pushing straight to down dog or taking the vinyasa. Finishing up here. Inhale, rolling into up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll all come down into child's pose again. Gently bringing the forehead to the mat, walking the hands out in front of us. Inhaling and exhaling. Allowing our breath to return back to normal as it perhaps got a little elevated there. When you're ready, coming to hands and knees. And then flipping over. We'll do a little core work here. So coming into my favorite pose, boat pose, Navasana. We have some choices. Hands can stay behind you on the mat. Knees are bent. We can lift the legs up off the ground. Take hands to frame the knees. So any of these options, maybe one foot stays down or taking turns. Keeping the back nice and flat. We'll hold Navasana here. Then we'll come down to low boat pose, so straightening the legs, bringing the upper body down towards the mat, but still just balancing on our sit bones. And we'll inhale back to Navasana. Exhale, dropping it down. Inhale up. Exhale to low boat pose or canoe or whichever you wish to call it. Back into Navasana. And then we'll take it slowly all the way down to the mat. Before we finish up here, let's do a quick bridge pose. So bending the knees, taking the bottom of the feet onto the mat, maybe walking the feet towards the sit bones. I like my feet to be placed so that I can touch my heels with the end of my fingertips. Knees are hip width distance apart, arms just next to the body. And on an inhale, we'll press into the feet, lifting the hips up, coming into a bridge pose. Really using the glutes, the hamstrings, pressing into the heels. Maybe you clasp hands underneath the body. You can roll the shoulders under to help give you a little height. As we continue to lift the back body up, getting the chest up. When you're ready, slowly lowering back down to the mat. I'll offer up a figure 4 twist at this point, so if you wish to join me, bringing the right knee into the chest, and then crossing right ankle over left knee, coming into a nice little figure 4. Perhaps this is enough, or maybe you wish to lift the left leg, bringing the foot off the mat, taking arms around the back of the left thigh, Hugging that left leg in. You can also push the right knee open. Giving a nice stretch here. You can take your figure four into a supine twist, so dropping the left leg and right foot towards the left side of the mat. Walking the right arm out to the side, taking the gaze out to the right, getting a nice spinal twist. Allowing the body to relax. When you're ready, we'll bring that left leg and right foot back over the body, give it one more hug before uncrossing the ankle and switching to the other side. So hugging the left knee in and crossing the left ankle over the right knee. Perhaps taking hands behind the right thigh this time. Hugging that thigh in, maybe also pushing the left knee away. Nice stretch in the outside of the hip and thigh. And dropping the right bent knee and left foot over to the right side of the body. Left arm extends out to the side. Gaze goes up to the side. Feeling a nice twist, releasing any last pockets of tension that you may still feel after a pretty thorough stretch and a nice little strengthening series. And rolling back in towards the center, bringing both knees, and after we've uncrossed the ankle, bringing both knees into the chest, hugging into a tight little ball. Just tensing up every muscle as we take a big inhale in. And then release it all, exhale out the mouth. Taking it all the way down to the mat. If you wish to stay in Shavasana, I invite you to do so. But if you need to move on throughout your day, I invite you to join me in finding a way to an upright position.